Jamie Fraser was supposed to die at King's Mountain. Claire knew it, the history books warned her about it, and for one terrifying moment, it looked like the story was finally catching up with them. But then something happened that changed everything. Jamie survived the battle. Claire believed Frank had been wrong, and for a few seconds, it looked like the future had finally been defeated. Then one final gunshot turned their victory into heartbreak. And what happens after Jamie appears to die is even more shocking. The ending of Outlander Season 8 is not simply about death. It is about love, time, fate, and one question that the series deliberately leaves hanging: can Jamie and Claire really escape the forces that have followed them since the very beginning? The final episode, titled "And the World Was All Around Us," begins with Jamie preparing for the Battle of King's Mountain. From the very start, there is a feeling that this is not an ordinary battle. Jamie knows the danger ahead, and he also knows what Frank Randall's historical records have said about his future. According to those records, Jamie Fraser is supposed to die at King's Mountain. That knowledge has followed Jamie and Claire for a long time, turning every moment before the battle into something painful. Jamie is not only preparing his men for war, he is preparing himself for the possibility that he may never return home. That is why some of the quiet moments between Jamie and Claire are so important. Instead of rushing straight into the fighting, the episode gives them time to face what could be their final goodbye. Jamie even speaks about what Claire should do if he dies. He asks her to remember him, and Claire makes it clear that the home they built together is now more important to her than any other place or time. Their conversation feels like the end of a long journey, but neither of them truly wants to believe that their story is about to finish. Then the battle begins. Jamie leads his men into the fight, while Claire and Roger remain close enough to help the wounded. The fighting becomes more dangerous as the Patriots push forward against Major Patrick Ferguson's forces. Claire desperately tries to reach Jamie, especially after seeing a fallen soldier who looks enough like him to make her fear the worst. Eventually, she reaches Jamie, and for one brief moment, the nightmare seems to be over. Jamie is alive, Ferguson is defeated, and Claire realizes that the history Frank knew may have been wrong after all. She tells Jamie exactly that, believing they have finally broken the future that was supposed to destroy them. The two share an emotional reunion, and Jamie appears to have survived the very battle that was meant to take his life. But this is Outlander, and happiness never comes without a price. Jamie approaches Ferguson and demands his surrender. It looks like the final step toward victory, but Ferguson has one last weapon hidden beneath his clothes. Without warning, he pulls out a pistol and shoots Jamie directly in the chest. The man who was supposed to survive has suddenly fallen. Claire immediately feels that something is wrong and rushes back toward him. Jamie is badly wounded, and the joy of victory disappears in seconds. As Claire holds him, Jamie tells her that he is not afraid, but Claire refuses to accept that she is about to lose him, and this is where the episode turns from a battle story into something much bigger. Jamie's apparent death seems to fulfill the history that Claire and Jamie spent so long trying to escape. But the final minutes of the episode reveal that death may not be the end of Jamie and Claire's story. For a few seconds, Jamie and Claire believe they have beaten history itself. The Battle of King's Mountain is turning in their favor. Ferguson has fallen from his horse, and Jamie is still standing. Claire looks at him and realizes the impossible may have happened. The history Frank knew said Jamie would die at King's Mountain, but Jamie has survived the battle. That is why Claire tells him that Frank was wrong. For Jamie and Claire, those words feel like freedom. After years of fearing a date, a battle, and a death written in history, they finally believe they have changed the story. But there is one detail they do not know yet. Frank's history was not completely wrong. It was simply missing the part that mattered most. Jamie turns toward Ferguson, believing the fight is over. He demands his surrender, expecting the defeated officer to finally accept that the battle has been lost. Instead, Ferguson reveals that he still has a pistol hidden beneath his clothes. Before Jamie can react, Ferguson fires, The shot hits Jamie in the chest. Everything changes in an instant. The celebration disappears. Jamie falls, and Claire immediately knows something terrible has happened. She is not standing beside him when the shot is fired, but she feels the danger, almost as if something inside her has been pulled toward him. She runs back across the battlefield, desperate to reach the man she has spent her entire life trying to protect. When Claire reaches Jamie, she refuses to accept what she is seeing. Jamie tries to calm her and tells her that he is not afraid, but Claire is terrified. She has faced war, prison, loss, time travel, and death itself, yet none of those things matter now. The only thing she can see is Jamie lying in front of her. Jamie's final words to Claire make the moment even more painful. He asks her to forgive him, and then his eyes close. For Claire, this is not simply losing her husband. It feels like losing the entire life they fought so hard to build. Jamie's men slowly fall to their knees around him. Even the noise of the battlefield seems to fade away. Claire stays beside Jamie and refuses to leave him. When Ian and Roger try to make her understand that Jamie is gone, Claire cannot accept it. She keeps telling herself that he only needs to rest. That reaction is important because the finale is not showing Claire as someone who has simply accepted defeat. She is trapped between what her eyes are telling her and what her heart refuses to believe. As night falls, Claire remains beside Jamie's body. She is completely broken, but the episode quietly begins, preparing us for something strange. The story is no longer following a simple path from life to death. The connection between Jamie and Claire is about to become tied to the same mystery that started their entire journey. Then comes the scene that changes how we understand the opening of Outlander. The episode takes us back to 1945, when Jamie's ghost watches Claire from outside the window. We finally see what happened after that famous first appearance. Jamie's spirit eventually reaches Craignadown and touches one of the stones. But he does not travel through time. Instead, blue flowers appear around the stone. Those flowers are forget-me-nots, and suddenly, the story feels like a circle. The flower that first helped lead Claire toward Jamie may have been connected to Jamie himself all along. The man whose death sent Claire toward the past may also have been the mysterious figure who was waiting for her before she ever knew his name. But the biggest question is still ahead. If Jamie truly died at King's Mountain, why does the final scene show something that looks like a second chance for both Jamie and Claire? That is where the finale delivers its most mysterious twist. Jamie's death is not the end of the story. It is the moment when the entire Outlander story suddenly connects back to the very first episode. While Claire is holding Jamie on the battlefield, something strange begins to happen. The episode stops feeling like a normal historical drama and starts moving into the world of time, memory, and the mysterious power that has always surrounded the stones. Claire refuses to leave Jamie. She stays beside him through the night, holding him close even after everyone else believes he is gone. And that detail becomes extremely important. Claire has always been more than a witness to Jamie's life. She has saved him before, fought for him, and refused to accept the rules that seemed to control their fate. Now, in his darkest moment, she does the same thing again. Then the finale gives us an answer to one of Outlander's oldest mysteries. Remember the mysterious Highlander Frank saw outside the window in the very first episode? For years, fans wondered who that man really was and why he was watching Claire. The finale finally gives us the answer. It was Jamie. The episode shows Jamie's ghost watching Claire in 1945, before she ever travels through the stones. He then makes his way to Craignadown. When Jamie touches the stone, blue forget-me-nots appear around its base. Those are the same flowers that later draw Claire toward the stones and begin the journey that changes both of their lives forever. And this changes the meaning of the entire series. Claire did not simply find Jamie by accident. Jamie was already connected to the beginning of her journey. The man Claire would eventually fall in love with was somehow there before she even knew him. His ghost was part of the mystery that pushed her toward the stones. The flowers became the small clue that started everything. That means the love story between Jamie and Claire is not moving in a straight line. It is moving in a circle. Jamie leads Claire to the past, and Claire's journey eventually leads her back to Jamie. That is why the finale feels less like an ending and more like the closing of a giant circle. The showrunner has also described the ending as something that can be interpreted as having no true beginning or end, which fits perfectly with the way the final episode connects the first episode to the last. But there is another detail that makes the ending even more interesting. After Jamie's apparent death, Claire and Jamie are shown together on the ancient stone. Claire's hair is now completely white, suggesting that the scene may not be happening at the exact moment we think it is. Then, in the final seconds, both Jamie and Claire suddenly open their eyes and gasp. Cut to black. That final moment has created one huge question: did Claire somehow bring Jamie back? One possible reading is that Claire's healing ability, combined with her deep connection to Jamie, allowed her to save him. Another possibility is that the two have crossed into some space between life and death. The show does not give us a simple answer, and that may be exactly what the creators wanted. What matters most is that Jamie's death may not have broken their story. It may have completed it. The man who once watched Claire from the shadows becomes the man who leaves the flowers that lead her to the stones. The woman who once stepped through those stones becomes the person who refuses to let Jamie disappear. And after everything they have survived, the final image brings them together once again. Their story began with a mysterious Highlander. It ends with Jamie and Claire opening their eyes together, and that is what makes the final scene so powerful. Outlander does not simply ask whether Jamie and Claire survived. It asks whether a love strong enough to cross centuries can ever truly end. The final minutes of Outlander leave us with something far more powerful than a simple answer about whether Jamie lives or dies. After everything Claire and Jamie have suffered, the story refuses to end with one of them simply disappearing from the other's life. Instead, the finale takes us back to the strange mystery that started their journey and gives their love story a final, almost impossible connection. Jamie's apparent death at King's Mountain becomes the doorway to one last question: was Claire strong enough to bring him back? Claire remains beside Jamie even after everyone else believes there is nothing more she can do. She tells Roger that Jamie is home, refusing to accept that the battlefield is where his story should end. Her grief is so powerful that she chooses to stay with him rather than return to safety. That moment says everything about Claire. After crossing centuries for Jamie, surviving wars, losing family, and facing death more times than she can count, she still refuses to let go. Then the episode gives us the most unusual image of the entire finale. Claire's hair is completely white. The detail is not there by accident. Earlier in the story, Claire's connection to her healing power and the mysterious energy around the stones has been linked to her becoming stronger. Now, as she lies beside Jamie, the image suggests that Claire may have reached the full power that was hinted at before. The finale never gives us a simple explanation, but the visual strongly suggests that something extraordinary is happening between them. Then comes the moment that changes everything. Jamie opens his eyes, Claire opens hers, both gasp, and the screen goes dark. That final image is deliberately left open to interpretation. One reading is that Jamie truly died, but Claire somehow used her power to bring him back. Another is that the scene represents something beyond normal life and death, showing that their connection continues even after Jamie's body has failed him. The important point is that the show does not spell out exactly what happened. It wants viewers to debate it, and honestly, that fits Outlander perfectly. This series has never treated time as something simple. The stones, the visions, the ghosts, and the strange connection between different moments have always suggested that Jamie and Claire's story operates by its own rules. The finale brings that idea back one last time. The final mystery also connects directly to the famous Highlander scene by Frank in the first episode. The finale confirms that the mysterious figure was Jamie's ghost, meaning Jamie was connected to Claire's story before Claire even knew what was waiting for her beyond the stones. That creates a powerful circle. The man Claire would fall in love with was already watching over her before their first meeting. So, was Jamie really dead? The safest answer is that the finale intentionally refuses to give us a completely clear answer. But the final image strongly points toward Jamie and Claire continuing together rather than being separated forever. Their story does not end with a funeral. It ends with both of them opening their eyes, and that may be the real message of the finale. Jamie and Claire spent their entire lives trying to survive history. In the end, they may have done something even greater. They survived the story itself. Their journey began with Claire stepping through the stones. It ends with Jamie and Claire facing whatever comes next together, and after 8 seasons of war, heartbreak, separation, and impossible choices, that final breath may be the most important moment of all.